What if the greatest players from every NBA era went head to head? I built 5 teams representing the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s, each stacked with their era's biggest stars. Will Jordan's 90s squad dominate? Can Kobe and Shaq's 2000s team take over? Or will LeBron and Curry's 2010 squad prove they're the best? Let's find out. Here are what the teams are looking like. 2020 starting 5 sees Luka at the 1, SGA at the 2, Tatum at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and Jokic at the 5. And here is a quick look at their bench unit. The 2010 starting 5 sees Steph Curry, James Harden, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Dwight Howard. And this is what their bench mob is looking like. The 90s starting 5 is John Stockton, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone, and Hakeem. And this is what their backups are looking like. And the 80s starting 5 sees Magic Johnson, Dr. J, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Kareem. And this is what their bench unit is looking like. We're now at the end of this season, and LeBron James took home the MVP as he had averages of 14.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Team 80s was the best regular season team as they had a record of 77-5, followed up by Team 2010s, Team 2020s, Team 80s, and Team 2000s was the worst out of the 5. Luka led Team 2020s in scoring, averaging 14 points, followed up by SGA, Tatum, and Jokic. LeBron James led Team 2010s in scoring, averaging 14.5 points, followed up by KD, Kawhi, and James Harden. Tim Duncan led the 2000s in scoring, averaging 12.5 points, followed up by Kobe, AI, and Dirk. Karl Malone led the 90s in scoring, averaging just under 13 points, followed up by Clyde, Hakeem, and Patrick Ewing. And Kareem led the 80s in scoring, averaging 15 points, followed up by Larry Bird, Dr. J, and Magic Johnson. Now it's time for the playoffs, and this is what the bracket is looking like. Comment down below which era you got winning it all. And this is how the playoff bracket finished, and now we get a blockbuster matchup between Team 2010s versus Team 90s. We're simming this one game by game, as 90s takes game 1, 2010s takes game 2, 90s takes game 3, 90s takes the commanding 3-1 series lead, and it will be Team 90s beating out the 2010s in 5 games to win the NBA Finals. And it was Michael Jordan who took home the Finals MVP.